So, Michael Nash, applied invertebrate ecologist, here today in sunny Rand, talking to growers. It's part of their discussion group on how they manage establishment pests, in particular slugs. So basically slugs come up to the surface and are active based on moisture. So they're down at depth, so 50 centimetres to a metre. And once that moisture, 3 to 4 inches of rain, gets down to depth, that is a trigger for them to come to the surface. Of course, a common species in this area, black-keeled slugs, there's also the black wave of doom that comes out in late May. Growers need to be proactive and actually using refuges in the previous spring, or just looking in crops going into susceptible crops to understand the numbers of slugs that will carry over summer. Trying to monitor at this time of year is difficult, so the best thing to do is at sowing, put some bait lines down and see if slugs are actually out and about looking to feed on their crops. So if they've found slugs the previous spring, I'd be ordering bait and making sure that they apply some bait directly after sowing before the crop comes up to protect it, and then maybe looking at monitoring and having to rebait in those areas where slugs are particularly pesky, targeting those black-keeled slugs that come out early winter. So it's all context specific. Context is king, so the best product applied in the wrong situation will still give you a poor result. The worst product applied at the right time will always give you a better result. So I think it's understanding the context in which you apply baits. So understanding some baits last longer after rainfall, so understanding the amount of rainfall that would fall on them is all very important. Also, we would try and avoid using hard baits that are rain fast but don't swell up with any moisture about, particularly earlier on in the season. So some of the softer baits may be better earlier in the season, but a off-the-shelf recommendation is very difficult. It's really up to your agronomist to work with your agronomist to get the best bait out at the right time. Yes, lots of things like establishing canola really quickly, cultural control, so cultivation and gypsum was brought up today. I think that's a fantastic solution, particularly in those areas that were waterlogged, to also address some of the problems with soil structure in those areas. Cultivation is probably as good as a pre-bait. The other thing is removal of stubble, growing very vigorous cultivars of canola that establish quickly, and of course sowing when temperatures are warm in April are all very important tools in the toolbox. The other thing is, of course, conserving their predators in the system, such as the carabid beetles, so looking at the insecticides they're using and trying to limit the disruption to the biological control, the natural enemies that also help limit slug numbers in the springtime. So I'd just like to thank River Rand Plains for inviting me along to this discussion group at Rand, and also the GRDC for funding extension of slug control to the industry in the northern region.